Hey, it's David Meyers with EXP Realty here in Cape Coral, Florida. I specialize in waterfront property as I have done since I was first licensed in 2003. Today, I'm standing in front of 5230 Sarasota Court here in the west end of the Yacht Club. This is an older home that's been really nicely remodeled on a direct sailboat access canal. You'll see my sailboat's actually parked across the canal behind this house. So we'll talk all about the access and the water depth and the width of the canal and all that good stuff at the end of the tour. But for now, let's go inside and see the house. And then afterwards, I'll go back to my office and we can talk about some of the things that make this location, this particular neighborhood, and what's special about this house in particular. But for now, let's go take a look inside. All right, so when I walked in the house for the first time, I was really impressed. The remodel job was really nicely done. I initially thought, based on the MLS pictures, that all the furniture was digitally staged, but in actual fact, it's all there. The kitchen is really nicely done, white cabinets, they have stone countertops, really nice backsplash. The way the house actually lives, for the size of it, it's only 1,675 square feet of living area. Total area is 3,281. But for the size of the house and for the year that it was built, it really feels good. It really has a nice feel to it. This house does have 3 bedrooms and 2 baths. On this side of the house, you have the 2 bedrooms and this small area. They have this set up as a seating area. It could also be another, like an eat-in kitchen area or a breakfast nook. See, here's the first of the 2 bedrooms on this side of the house. And split plan homes are great, especially for privacy if you have young kids or a couple different couples staying in the house at the same time. You have 2 bedrooms on one side of the house and the master on the other. If you notice, both of these bedrooms do have large walk-in closets. See, the windows are storm rated windows, which is great. The guest bath on this side is really nicely appointed and does have a bathtub. So if you do have a dog or small kids, the bathtub will come in handy. We'll take one more walk through the kitchen on the way to the master. You'll notice that the appliances are really nice. Now the master bedroom is laid out very nicely. They did a great job with the furnishings in here. There's a view of the pool and the canal. One of the 2 closets in the master is a walk-in closet. Some built-ins for shoes or folded clothes. And the master bathroom, although it's not huge, it's really nicely done with a shower. Nice choice of tile. Stone top, vanity. Take one more look at the living room before we go out to the lanai. Right through the French doors in the dining room, you see that the lanai has a covered area. The current owners elected to go with a fence instead of a pool cage, which is becoming a more popular option. It definitely keeps the pool warmer. The cage does cut out quite a bit of sun, and you'll notice that with no cage, the pool will be significantly warmer. When you're on a canal, the wind is usually high enough to keep a lot of the bugs away. So a lot of people are electing to go without a cage. That's my sailboat, actually, at the neighbor across the canal's home. I've
been keeping it over there for the last several weeks to shoot videos over here from the boat in the canal. At 72 feet wide, my boat's 30 feet long. I do have to turn the boat with lines to turn it around in this canal. Where this cutout area here is, there was a cantilever dock, and that cantilever dock, when it was cut off, is still in the canal. So I don't really dare try to pull a U-turn in here, because if it goes wrong, it's going to go real wrong. So this is an overhead shot at 10 times speed of me turning the boat around with lines. This is something that you would never have to do with a power boat, especially a twin engine power boat. Even up to 40 feet, you could turn those around in their own length all day long with moderate skill. It's with a sailboat, because it's a displacement hull boat and it has a rudder and an underpowered single engine. They don't have any steering authority in reverse. So in instances like this, I will always turn the boat around with lines, which is why, generally speaking, you see sailboats primarily on larger canals. So the canal at low tide, the lowest I've ever seen it is 7 feet in the middle, which is more than enough for any power boat that you would have. Now, the one thing that this property has really going for it is location. We're on the very west end of the Yacht Club here, and the minutes to river time is very, very short. You can get from the backyard of this house to the river in about 10 minutes. If you're on the way out in a power boat, that's barely enough time to get the engines up to operating temperature. We've left the house across the canal on the sailboat, and you just about have enough time to unzip the sail bag and prep the lines if you're going to hoist the sails right at the mouth of the river. So on the way out, you don't have any extra time as far as a long, arduous boat ride on the way out. And if there are storm clouds on the horizon which are bringing you back in, you don't have any thought about how long it's going to take you to get from the mouth of the river back to your house. The location couldn't be more ideal. There are power wires that are 55 feet tall that cross at El Dorado. So if you do have a sailboat, you have to have one with a mast height low enough so that a 55-foot set of power wires would not be a problem. And that'll basically be sailboats under 34 feet. Here's 5230 Sarasota Court by the numbers, all right? It's 3 beds, 2 baths, a split plan pool home with a 2-car garage, 1,675 square feet under air, 3,281 square feet total. List price, $838,000. All right, now there are basically only 3 things to talk about when it comes to these property walkthroughs. All right, there's the actual location or the lot, there's the house itself, and then there's the value for money. So with this particular property, let's talk about the lot, because of all the things you can change about a waterfront piece of property, the one thing that you cannot change is the location. And in this particular instance, this property has an excellent location. The only downsides you could say to a property of this sort is the 72-foot wide canal and the wires. And the only times that those things come into play is either if a view is a high priority for you, or if down the road sometime you envision yourself with a sailboat that's in the 35-foot and larger range that may have a mast height that would not fit under the 55-foot wires. The likelihood of that is not that great. And for me personally, I've actually had my boat behind this house, at the house behind this house, and it's really not that big a deal. I do turn it around with the lines like I showed you, but it's perfectly suitable for a boat of that size. In fact, if I lived on that canal, I'd just put a bow thruster in my boat and be done with it. So as far as the location goes, it's really, really hard to beat that spot. You have a very quick access by boat. You're about 10 minutes out by boat. And then by car, you're right in the middle of everything as well. So if you wanted to get to or from Fort Myers, when you take El Dorado, it turns into Del Prado, and you can sneak across the bridge without any of the worry of traffic on Cape Coral Parkway. So getting on and off like the Cape, if you go back and forth to Fort Myers, it's an excellent spot for that. Everything down in the Yacht Club area is perfect for that because the traffic is super light in the car. Traffic is super light in the boat. Very quick trip out there. As far as value for money goes, if Cape Coral was built today, it would be a very different kind of place. It would be tremendously expensive, right? The only reason that Cape Coral waterfront property is such a good value by today's standards is because there's so much of it. One thing that you could never get is a house, a 1,675 square foot house on a lot like that. It just wouldn't exist. So if a house this size is something that would suit your needs for the future, for all of time, then this is an actual perfect opportunity. Conversely, if you had future plans to build some type of a larger, more opulent dream home, the location here supports that type of property. On the street over, there's a house that's valued at north of $4 million. So this particular area is a great place to build a bigger, more opulent home. If that's your plan for the future, but you want to actually be able to utilize the property between now and then, either by putting it in an Airbnb program to get some return on your investment while you're waiting to build, or just to use it yourself in the meantime, to have a place that you can actually functionally use. Think about it. If you buy a vacant lot and you're going to build in the future, the vacant lot has no utility. You can't do anything with it. Sure, you could maybe park a boat there, but you can't use it for anything. You can't live in a tent on the lot while you wait to build your house. At least with this scenario, if the future build is your idea, you're paying a little bit over the odds for the lot, but you could actually recapture that with rental income, whether full-time or Airbnb. So for me, I think that the way that this house was remodeled, the actual quality of the remodel job is like $200 a square foot quality, home. And if you take that times the square footage is 1675 and then back out the lot value, it's actually a standout deal for this property. It might seem like a lot of money to some people, but it's actually, for what it is and for where it is and for how nicely it's done, it's actually a really fair value for money. All right. If you have questions about this property or any other property or anything having to do with Cape Coral waterfront property, I encourage you to just reach out to me. My personal cell phone number, which I will answer if you call, or text, is 239-529-0555. My email address, if you want to start a conversation that way, is waterfrontluxury@gmail.com. I've also written an ebook about buying waterfront property. It's the Cape Coral Waterfront Buyer's Guide. I update it all the time. I started on it about 20 years ago. I've tried to keep it as compact as possible. It's a 20-page PDF, and you could download your copy of that at capecoralwaterfrontbuyersguide.com. I know it's long, but it's easy to remember. capecoralwaterfrontbuyersguide.com. Go there, put in your email address, and I'll send you a copy of the buyer's guide. If there's anything that I could do for you between now and then, please let me know. Let me know your thoughts about the location of this property, the price, the value, anything. Any thoughts that you have, let me know down in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you out on the waterfront.